welcome back to the Flippin Foxes. I'm Sherry, and as you can see, there is no Shannon. This video is going to be a little different. Most of our videos are what sold videos, and there's usually two of us, but we are down to just me. I'm going to get kind of a little personal here, I guess, and kind of explain why I'm the only one here this time, and probably going to be for most of the future videos. My husband went back to work probably about a little over a week ago. And as you notice, most of our videos kind of stopped. And I'm not going to lie, I went through a bit of depression, just trying to get used to doing this on my own. It hasn't been easy. Part of the reason he went back to work, I think, was for his mental sanity. He's a people person. I'm usually content doing my thing at home, but I usually have him here, or at least a little more accessible. He's kind of in a job where I don't really talk to him much throughout the day, so that's been a little difficult. We experienced the lows of eBay. I know not everybody has the same experience with eBay. I was doing really well, and then it just seems like, I guess, starting maybe the end of September, middle of September, throughout October, and we still haven't really picked up. Sales have been very slow. And it gets very hard to list when nothing is selling. And I'm sure those of you who are experiencing what we have understand that. It gets you down. It makes it harder to want to put as much into the business as you normally do. And yes, I make a few sales on the other platforms. I haven't been able to. I have a pretty decent sized store, maybe not as big as some, but we're at about almost 900 items. So getting all of those cross-listed by myself is a little difficult. My husband's not much of the lister type. He's more the, he goes on, does the auctions. If we get items that need repairs or anything like that, he will do that. That's going to take a little bit different feel too, because we're going to have to work around his work schedule. He's what they consider part-time, yet he's working a full 40 hours. It's a little different here than California was. But I guess, I was watching a YouTuber today, Josh Galt, if you haven't watched him. And he was kind of talking about plan B, and that he really didn't have a plan B because he really didn't want to go back to his normal job that he had. Not that this isn't normal, because you work a lot more hours sometimes than an 8 to 5. But he didn't want to go back to, punching a clock and working for somebody else. And for a lot of reasons, I don't either. I did that. I've done that since I was 17. And I have some health issues that make that a little more difficult to do day to day. I need to be able to, if I'm having a bad day, to go a little slower pace. But that's not what this is about. So he's talking about having a plan B, and that he really doesn't have a plan B. And, neither do I. And I guess where I'm going with this is, I may not have a plan B, but I need to pivot on my only plan. We went full time, hoping that when we moved here that we could do this together and we'd be able for it to sustain us. We had a little nest egg when we started here. Unfortunately, we bought a house that required a lot more attention and money than we anticipated. And that's life. I mean, it's been difficult watching the credit cards rack up and stuff. And a lot of people do that with their business. Unfortunately, I wish we had been able to say our credit card bills are all due to our inventory, but they're not. They stem from a lot of repairs on the house that were unforeseen. And yes, we did, get the house checked and all of that, but out here they don't quite check as thoroughly as we would have expected. So there was a lot of things that we didn't realize till we moved in that were going to be an issue. So with that, we expected our business to, as we ramped it up, be able to pay some of those down and be able to put that back into the house. Well, unfortunately, with the slowdown of eBay on our end, that hasn't happened. So it was necessary for him to go out and get a job. And what I mean by I'm pivoting is I need to step back, and I will still be reselling, but I'm going, in order for my sanity, look at it as more of a part-time. I'm still going to do the daily things. I'm just not going to kill myself trying to make something work that maybe isn't necessarily my fault. I know that some of our items that are in our store may not be huge movers. And we knew that going into it. Like I said, a lot of the stuff, if you've watched our prior videos, a lot of the stuff was his parents. When they passed away, we are still selling a lot of that off. We are looking into, at the beginning of the year, kind of going through our inventory and deciding, if it's just flat not going to sell, we'll use other means, like auction it or, but I am going to start looking into doing more local auctions, local sales, and see if maybe that works. So I guess my plan B is just to pivot plan A, my only plan, and try and make this work the best I can, and stop beating myself up for it not working, because I've tried all the things. I watch YouTube video after YouTube video. I read, I'm on Facebook groups that talk about different things people do, and I've tried them all. And I'm not saying I don't make sales, I just am not making them where I used to. And yes, that is on me. I mean, I may need to really look at changing up my inventory. I'm not going to do it right now. I need to get through the holiday season and see if sales pick up, if eBay changes in any way. And if I go through the entire holiday season and find that my items still aren't really moving, then yes, I do need to really look at what I'm selling. But I'm not going to beat myself up and try and do it during a period of, craziness between the holidays and the weather, which, is going to, and that's been the other thing. We have one vehicle. So that's proving to be a little difficult because he is working about 35, 40 minutes away. So getting my items to the post office, he's having to do that. And so I have changed, I don't ship daily. We ship every other day and kind of go at it that way. So that's made it a little more difficult. We're hoping we can eventually get a little car. When we started this, we had no idea that he was going to wind up going back to work, and it was going to make that a lot more difficult. So I just kind of wanted to let you know where I'm at, why I haven't posted any what sold videos. I honestly put my store on vacation mode to try and get through what was going on in my head and how I was going to go about this, because there was a point where I just kind of threw my hands up and said, you know what, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. But then I had to really stop and think, you know, I just need to change my perspective and look at it as more of a side hustle. I hate that word, but, you know, a part-time gig. Something for me to do while he's working and feel like I'm contributing. So that's kind of where we're at. I will start back the What Sold videos. I mean, I do, even though I have my store on vacation mode, I kept it running to make sales. So I have a few. So we will go through the weekend, and then I will put one out on Sunday of what sold from now until Sunday. So I will get back on track. But I am realizing that I need to get out of my head and just do what I can do and realize that that is all I can do. So those of you out there who are really struggling to understand how eBay is operating and how, you know, and taking it personal, don't. You know, if you're flat doing nothing, then yeah, it's on you. But when you are putting in, you know, 12 plus hours, which I will no longer be doing, I'm going to sit down and actually make out a schedule, and I don't want to work any more than about 20 hours a week. What sells, and what doesn't, then we'll revisit that at a later time. But for now, for my sanity, so I don't drive my husband crazy, because I know it's been rough on him watching me kind of go through this downward spiral and blaming myself. So we are going to get better. I just have to change my way of thinking. So with that, I will see you on the next video, and we will have some What Sold items, and I'll think about some other videos to put out on days that stuff doesn't sell instead of letting it get to me. So have a great weekend, and I will see you next time.